Hi, it's Jeff Cohen from the Florida Healthcare Law Firm and another episode of the Healthcare Disruptors Series. I'm here with Autumn Galgano. And if you're wondering why us, and we're obviously not healthcare professionals, it's a great question. It's because everything that we do started with everything that we did. So we're going to talk about that, meaning the genesis of the firm and how we've migrated into this whole idea of green table and how are we connected to this whole idea of disruption, things like that. So you wanted to talk about the genesis of the firm a little bit.
Yeah.
And here's what I remember about it. You'll remember other things because you've been here since 2010, right? 2010.
Yeah, almost 14 years. 14 years, yeah.
Yep. It was very simply this. I wanted to show lawyers what it was like to be a lawyer in a law firm and be happy. And I wanted to show...
Disruptive.
Highly disruptive.
That was it.
Earth-shaking. Wait a minute, you could be a lawyer and be happy too? Impossible.
Yeah.
Because my own journey, which I wrote about in my book, was I didn't know how to be a lawyer and be happy. Because they were different. It was like I could be a human being and I could be a lawyer, but I can't be a lawyer and a human being at the same time. Yeah. And I struggled with that, and I found my way to it. And that coincided with an inspiration that I want to create a firm that's all about happy lawyers and happy clients that get treated the way I would want to be treated and the way anybody that I know would want to be treated. It was kind of simple, but very disruptive, right?
And what was your experience owning a firm like that?
It was very disruptive. I felt very disrupted. Yeah, that first year was balls. It was just, what the hell just happened? Yeah. It was like running a car to a cliff and running the front two wheels off. That's what it was like.
Because you had never done anything on your own in business before, right?
No, I was not qualified to be in business. I'd be the guy least likely to be in business, least likely to own a law firm.
So you never wanted to grow up and own a law firm?
No, never. I didn't even want to be a lawyer until I was a lawyer. No. And well, actually, the second year that I was a lawyer, then it was like, oh my God, this is so fun.
Right.
And then for the next, I don't know how many years, but a long time, then there was this 14-year gap where I was part of a firm where we just had this overhead sharing thing. And I got bored, and I realized there's this kind of trajectory in not just law, but all personal services businesses, where you spend 10 to 15 years climbing the mountain. You got to pay attention to what your hands are doing and what keys your fingers are touching. And you're really honing your skills and you're getting good at what you do. 10 to 15 years for most people.
And that's any personal service business.
Law and medicine, I noticed.
Yeah, medicine.
And then you get to the end of that and you're standing on the top of the mountain, you're pounding your chest, you're the man, and you say, okay, this sucks. And the weight of it is unbearable. You realize that in 5 years, 10 years, you're going to be looking for the door out of there. Yeah. That's what I began to realize, and I was bored fundamentally. But I got this inspiration to create something bigger than me and serve it. That was basically it, and I knew what it was about. I knew it was about happy lawyers and happy clients that get treated like human beings that have the same value across the board. That was it. And the first year was learning one important lesson that I didn't know, believe it or not. Because I was 49, you'd think, oh, well, obviously you know this. I didn't know. Human beings are motivated by a lot of self-interest. They have survival needs and survival impulses. We're all like that to some extent. And a lot of people are like that to the point where they will take what's yours. They will hurt you to get their needs met. And that's what I experienced a lot of in the first year. And I was shocked by it. And I'd never seen it before. And I didn't need to learn that lesson until the survival of the firm depended on me learning that lesson.
Do you think business people all learn that lesson?
I think some business people go into business knowing that, and they know how to protect what matters to them. I didn't know how because I assumed wrongly that everybody was motivated just like me. I assumed everybody had the same values, the same beliefs, or compatible ones anyway. I didn't know that that wasn't true.
So you had never really been exposed to business ownership previous to that?
No. Yeah. And that first year was jarring. I mean, that I had the moment that all business people have where it was like, there's groceries on a credit card, I don't have any money, I've run out of funds, and I'm thinking there's got to be a way out. Like I'm starting to look for the back door, like maybe I should quit. And I reached out to a big firm, maybe I should join you guys, and maybe I should quit. And a great thing happened. They lied to me. Yeah. They flat out lied to me, and then I got what I really needed at the time. Pissed. Yeah. I got freaking pissed. And now I not only wanted to win, I wanted to hurt people that had hurt me. And I just
That's a good motivator.
I needed it. Yeah. I needed the fire.
Yeah.
And that was the first year. And then I met you. Right after I fired everybody, you were on the front desk answering phones in a law firm, and you were totally unqualified, just like me. Yeah. Everybody got fired. Okay, I fired everybody. You were the only one. And some people walked out, in fairness. Yeah. And I walked up to you, and you remember what I asked? Yeah. What did I ask?
Want to stick around and see if we can create something?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's what the first year was.
Yeah.
And that model that I had, I realized after the first year, it wasn't sustainable and it wasn't compatible with me, because what it attracted, paying salaries and stuff like that, it attracted people that wanted to give as little as they had to and get as much as they possibly could. Yeah. And I'm an adult. I'd been in business for many years before that in a law firm. I had children. I was raising children. And I didn't want any more children. I didn't want any more of the mindset of what about me, and I just want what you have, and I'm just going to take it from you, and I'm not going to think about the greater good and the mission and the vision and the purpose of coming here every day. Yeah. I couldn't personally tolerate it anymore.
Well, and it makes sense that you wanted a culture of people who were going to bet on themselves.
Yep.
Like you had.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And you know what? When I changed the compensation model to pure productivity-based comp, I thought, nobody's coming. Yeah. It was just you and me in the office, 2,700 square feet. Yeah. In that office, me working probably 3 nights a week, every weekend, trying to dig out of debt, trying to serve the clients and do the best I could. And I was sure, that's it. It's just you and me, and that's the model, because nobody's going to come and get paid on productivity. But I knew a secret that was secret back then, which is when a lawyer goes to a law firm and gets $200,000 salary and thinks they're winning, I knew they were getting about 25% of what was collected for what, right, at best. Yeah. And they felt, hey, I'm getting a big salary.
Well, and I'm a title.
Like,
I'm a partner.
I'm a partner. Yeah. I'm like, you're a partner in nothing. Right. There's no profit. And if there is profit, it's on the back of younger lawyers that are busting their ass with inhuman hours, not sustainable, not humane. And it pissed me off that that's the model of a law firm. I'm like, that's not right. It's not compatible with human beings that can develop and be happy and have families and have a life. And I refused to be part of that club. And I was not, and I couldn't understand how anybody, a lawyer, who after 10, 20, whatever years, would feel happy, comfortable walking by their colleagues every day as they spent the night there, trying to put money in the pockets of people that didn't produce as much. And I'm like, I'm not having it. I don't want any part of a system that hurts people. I don't want any part of a system that creates human pain. I want to be part of a system, create a system that's all about humans thriving together. That was it.
Yeah. And not just financially. No. Thriving as human beings.
Yeah. Like being themselves, having fun, bringing all their quirkiness and all their other skills to the table in full display for the clients and for their colleagues. That's what I wanted. And that's what we created.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're in year, 14?
Yeah.
14 or 15. It's astonishing. And you and I were talking about it the other day, how fulfilling it is to go there, every day. I live 6 blocks from the office. I can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
I've been practicing 36 years.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people look for reasons to get out of the office because of this work-life balance concept that nobody quite knows what it means. They think it means you're having the same amount of hours in the office as you are out of the office. I think that's the shallow end of that. I think that's work-life balance. But we're looking for reasons to get into the office because our life is happening there.
It's so creative.
And we don't have a separation. We have a balanced life because we like going to the office.
Right.
So we're not looking for ways to get out of it.
And then we invite into the office to work there people that we think we can love.
Right.
That was it. Yeah. That was the moment you and I realized when we were hiring skills and we were walking by one of the employees every day and not wanting to connect. We realized, you know what? We can't hire skills anymore.
Right.
We have to hire people that we think we can really care about, only because it makes it a great day to be around people that we love.
Every day.
Yeah. And that's what we had, a group of people, bar none, that we just care about personally, and we care about them winning, however they define it. And we meet with them all the time about what is that? How do we help you get there? And it's a great day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, that motivation has always been, I'm a team person. So I like to find out, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What's your dream? What's your vision? And then get you there.
Exactly.
So we worked very well together because we were on the same page. I was kind of serving that vision of like, this is what we want to build. We want to fill up the office, the first office we had. We want to fill it up and just have all the offices full. Great. That was the goal, among a million other things.
Yeah.
And as we added more people, I got more people to serve and play with and say, what's your goal with this? What's your goal with that? Where can we go? Where can we bring it? And so over the many years now, we've fulfilled a lot of visions.
Yeah, and working,
in the container of the law firm.
And working with you taught me that there's such a thing as an entrepreneur who's somewhat visionary, and there's such a thing as an operator, and they don't live in the same body. I could never do what you do.
Yeah.
And if it was on me to handle all the details, it's like kryptonite to me. It weakens me, it destroys me, and it would keep me from creating the way that I create, and it would keep, and if you had to do what I did, my guess is no bueno.
Well, how do you know when you've had a really great meeting with a bunch of entrepreneurs?
You have the best conversation of your life. It's the best thing, and nothing happens after.
You guys are having a great time.
Yeah, the best time. Yeah. Hugging it out, and nothing happens.
So
nothing gets
both.
created. You need both.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I met you. I knew I needed somebody to handle administration, but I didn't understand the concept of entrepreneur/operator.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that it wasn't in the same body. I've never met an entrepreneur who's also an operator. I've met entrepreneurs that try to operate because they're working on a shoestring.
Yeah.
But it's draining them. It's encroaching on their creativity, and it's certainly not their highest and best use.
Yeah.
You and I reached kind of another level in the firm when we stopped asking, what can I do? What am I able to do? And we started asking, what's our highest and best use?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right. When you're starting off, you do everything. I did everything.
Yeah, right.
And as we started to grow, it was like, okay, let's peel off this little piece. Let's peel off that little piece. Let's keep refining it and sculpting it and make sure that whatever I'm touching or doing is the highest and best value that I can bring.
Yep. Yep.
And you do that as well.
Right. And it's funny what happened over time. First of all, my role changed because one of my responsibilities, because in every business, there has to be one person at least that asks this question every day, in fact, several times. Is this what's best for the business?
Yeah.
Because if you ask questions, what's best for that person or that person, you will hurt the business, you'll destroy the business. So I always say that my job for the firm is, and always has been, vision, momentum, and protection. That's it. Vision, momentum, protection. I knew that from the beginning. It's just that the way that I did it and do it has changed and probably will again.
Well, because you used to do it in the context of lawyering for clients.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
legal work,
Yep.
serving clients, helping them get where they wanted to go. And what was the pivot?
The pivot was when I realized that the firm needed me more than the clients did. Because I was surrounded by remarkably talented lawyers who were also remarkably wonderful human beings. So they had our full trust and respect. So I realized that as the firm grew, it needed me more and more to support the lawyers and to play a different role on behalf of the business. And it took us a couple of years. It was not a 90-degree turn.
It was painful
Yeah, it was
because
pain.
we would sort of make the pivot and we'd go, okay. And then
Fits and starts.
exactly. And then something would happen and be like, oh my gosh, I got to get back to work.
Right.
I can't do this. So
Right.
it was a lot of finding the lane and staying kind of on it and swerving off a little and correcting that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And it coincided with people coming to us and realizing that given the years of experience that I had in healthcare business,
Which at that time was probably 25,
Probably
27
It
at
was
that
about-
point.
Yeah, it was about 2014. So,
You think 25 years is
Yeah.
enough time to be good at something?
Yeah. You know what?
Is that what you're saying?
You know what? For me, it was a function of being good at it, which I've been good for a while.
Yeah.
But then being confident and getting out of my own way. You know, we were talking about this before we started shooting, but business is the crucible of human potential. I had no idea about that. By that I mean, you can't get in business, stay in business, or grow in business unless you constantly ask and answer two questions. Who do I want to be? And is this a good belief for me to keep or lose? I had no idea how close personal development and personal growth is to being in business.
Yeah.
No idea. But I learned it, and oddly enough, in a beautiful way, serving the business turned me into a human being that I had the potential to be, couldn't see. But I have to say this, I like this guy a lot more than I like the guy that started. By serving the business, I became somebody that I was able to become, and I'm proud to be. You know, it's a little bit like being Sassy's husband. You know, I remember in a relationship course, this person asked this question: who would you become if you became the spouse that your spouse needed you to be? Not wanted you to be necessarily, but needed you to be.
Not even that you wanted to be.
No, exactly. But it lifted the demand, and it made me step up and really push myself. And in that way, this business has been a real blessing to me, you know, because it's given me so much more than I gave it, is what I feel like.
Yeah.
You know?
Who would you be if you were who the business needed you to be?
Yeah.
Who the lawyer that works in the business needed you to be? Who any relationship needed you to be, instead of who you thought you
was
were,
capable
or
of.
what you were capable of,
Yeah.
or who you should be, or how you
Right.
should act.
And you and I ask those questions all the time with each other. Like, is this a good belief, or is this a bullshit belief, and we need to leave it?
Yeah.
And
well,
we consistently found them.
you can always change them,
Right.
but you found one that you liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't think I'm alone in noticing that we're all heroes in our own story. And the trajectory of life is becoming that hero and making the decisions and engaging in the behaviors to become that hero.
Yeah. So, and, you know, we went through the process of having become the hero of that story and had enough years, I think, at that point that we wrote that book to
the next 50
talk
feet,
about the
right.
journey, right?
Right.
To talk about, okay, we've overcome a few challenges, more than a few, and we've got some lessons that we want to share.
Right.
And it was time at that point, which was in 2020, I think,
Yeah.
to talk about that stuff. And that was even a few years after
Because that
things
was
had started changing with the business, where you had started serving the business and the lawyers there differently.
but it was like the fulfillment of a journey. Like we learned so much, but that journey's not complete unless we share all those lessons with everybody.
Right. So that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We had fulfilled the journey of the law firm, personal services business.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And what's been going on in the last 3 years?
You know, it's interesting. You know, we draw to ourselves opportunities where people say, "Listen, you have a better idea about my idea than I did, and you're able to articulate all the pertinent pieces and bring them to the table and get it done. You're an expediter, and you make the idea better." So what they end up doing is saying, "Let's partner together. Let's create a business, and you do what you do, make us better, make us faster," and we do. And we end up partnering with a number of businesses.
Well, and the first iterations of that were in the context of providing legal services.
Yeah.
And that has evolved substantially where now it's not just legal services.
Right.
It's strategy, it's
Yep.
concept and structure.
Right.
It's way beyond legal services. And
Right.
it even goes into branding and marketing now.
And I love what we do with these people and for these people because we serve them in a very unique way. And I've never heard anybody do it. Like people will look in business on a consultative basis at things like financial statements and things like that and spreadsheets and all that, which is good and it's important to focus on metrics because I do believe that you can't change what you can't measure. And I'm a big fan of Charlie Munger's and such. Anyway, however, one of the things that we bring to the table, because we're so inquisitive about ourselves and each other and human beings, we bring that to the table. Remarkable business experience. Look, I've been an advisor to businesses for 36 years. I've seen what doesn't work. I've seen what works. I know how to spot issues fast, early. I know how to bring things to the table that aren't at the table. People think in a very naive way when they're talking about about a service or product business. It's so good, everybody will buy it. And they know nothing about sales. They know nothing about marketing. They don't know anything about quality assurance. They don't know anything about regulatory protection, not protecting against the laws that exist today, but the ones that are coming. Like they're not able to see that. But I have immense landscape awareness just from doing this for so long. And
the pattern recognition
Yeah.
to have known what the trends were that were all
absolutely.
the same waves calling themselves different names. I mean,
That's exactly
you've
right.
seen
And being
how
able to
healthcare
do
has
that
changed.
between providers. I mean, we saw stuff, for example, in the addiction treatment space where we advised so many of those businesses that pattern is repeating itself once again in the IV hydration space.
Yeah.
And we're able to be out in front of it and tell people things that they need to know, which they can't find anywhere just because it's translatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what enables us to not only help people create businesses, but more importantly, because business, frankly, is easy to get into.
Yeah. Well,
It's not easy to stay in.
it's easy to get into. You have a great idea. You talk to your friends and family,
Yeah,
maybe even some businesses advisors, and everyone tells you it's a good idea.
that's right.
And so
that's
you
right.
just start.
That's right.
No problem.
Right. And you don't know anything. I mean, we've interviewed so many people in this Healthcare Disruptors Series, and you begin to notice certain personality traits that weave themselves through,
Yeah.
which confirm what you and I know is necessary for a business that is going to get in business and stay in business.
Mm-hmm.
And, that tenacity, that vision,
Yeah.
they know, people think the idea of a why is just woo-woo fluffy shit, and it's not. It's the core. It's the core, and it's the core because one day you're going to be putting groceries on credit cards. One day somebody's going to steal $50,000 from your bank account, like happened from us. Your accountant's going to steal from it, like it's happened to us. Everything that can go wrong is going to go wrong, and there's a specific reason why that happens. And for us, it's because we needed to learn that every challenge is meetable, beatable, and actually fun.
Yeah.
But the first time we had the first challenge, it was destructive. I mean, it was physiologically destructive.
Yeah.
It was horrible the first time. And then the second time, a
The
little
first
less.
10 times.
Yeah. The first,
There's a reaction.
right.
And then on
Oh my God.
the 100th time,
freaking out.
the reaction is not, oh my God, it's,
Right.
I can't wait for what's coming.
Yeah.
I can't wait for
Right.
how we're going to be better. I can't
Right.
wait for however we adapt to this and find out what's next.
And
Because this challenge is here to make us better.
I was gonna,
not to
that's
end
brilliant.
it.
And that's
not
it.
to end it.
That was the recognition that you and I really noticed and embraced with a smile and a skip in our step. It's like, oh my God, when you look back at that problem 14 years ago, 13 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, when we hit it and when we addressed it and overcame it and redesigned on the basis of it, it made us better. And there hasn't been a challenge at all that hasn't made us better.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's a weird freaking thing, but it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
Everything
People
that's
think
happened.
that a challenge means your idea is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, my business isn't working.
Right.
It's not a good idea. I should give up. A challenge means I should quit. It's not meant to be.
Yep.
It just didn't work out.
I had this
I failed.
You're right. And I have this
You stopped.
bingo. So that's really the issue. So this mentor once told me before I started the firm, never let the journey distract you from the destination. I had no idea what he meant exactly. I mean,
It's another one of those
intellectually,
phrases that is framed on the wall
yeah.
with
What the
the
hell does
eagle
that
in the
mean?
sky.
Yeah,
and you're like,
cool.
Whatever.
Nice. I'll
Great.
look at it and walk by it.
Yeah.
But that is critically important because to your point, there's something about the human psyche that wants to say the reason why it didn't happen or I didn't do it is because of that person and that thing over there. Mm-hmm. We are inherently designed to just run fast to the victim interpretation of every event that's unpleasant, And it's funny, when we see that, but you and I...
Well, it protects our very fragile ego.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done anything wrong.
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
Nothing's a threat here.
Just the other day...
Fine. It's that guy's fault.
And that never goes away. I don't think we ever get cleansed from being a human being.
Yeah.
We're going to have that doorway that we walk through. The question is, do you know the other one? And how fast do you access it?
Right. Well, it takes time to learn it.
It takes a lot of reps.
It takes a lot of challenges.
A lot of reps.
So any good idea is really only about one thing. How hard are you willing to work for it?
Right.
How long are you willing to work for it?
Right.
Is there a back door?
Right. And so when anybody on our team or any client comes to us with that perception, we're going to invite them, usually gently, but sometimes not so gently.
Well, there's a good preface for that conversation, which is how much are you prepared to hate us right now?
And we'll ask that, which is really funny. But then, I don't know, 10 minutes later, they see things in a different way. We have a remarkable ability from practice on ourselves
Yes.
to help people recast situations
Challenge
in
your
a
thinking.
better way.
Challenge your thinking.
Right.
Ask different questions. Ask better questions.
Yeah.
Challenge what you're telling yourself that doesn't allow you to do anything. It's usually something that's completely disempowering, right? They can't do anything because it's that guy's fault. Well, let's say he's not involved. Is there anything you can do? Is that really true?
Yeah.
Let's pretend he didn't exist.
And you find it in 5 minutes with
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
They just need help, which is one of the things that I learned being in business. If it was me with my own thoughts and ideas and feelings, I got no one to talk to. I'm learning nothing.
Right.
I'm flatlined right
because
there.
you can't hear your own thoughts and feelings unless you're saying them.
No.
And then as soon as you say them, you go, "Ooh, that was a stupid one.
Yeah,
Ooh, that was a limiting one.
there's a
Ooh, I don't like the person I'd have to be to say something like that."
and there's a reason why people, when they go into solitary confinement, they go nuts because all they have is their own thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that start businesses,
Or in solitary
they're
confinement.
in solitary confinement. They got no one to interact with. They have no one to say to them, you know what, that sounds like bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
There's no one to say to them, you know what, you created that. Yeah. And in business, the truth is, if you're the founder, if you're the guy or the woman that had the idea, everything good and everything bad is your fault.
Yeah.
It is your fault. And the question is, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Hopefully you have someone
learn.
around you that will
Yeah,
poke you a little bit.
exactly. Exactly. That's why this has been
We've gotten into
so
it.
essential.
We've gotten into
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We've had conversations that are hard and that are questions asking about this. Are you accepting that?
Right.
Is that really what you want to do?
Right.
And you can do it in a respectful way, but you need people around you who aren't going to give you the Elvis treatment and just you till you're dead.
Yep. There's something about my mind, and I think many people's minds, that when you get to a plateau, you just go, no, I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. And you can hear it because the tone goes up and it kind of lilts up. It's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And that's like the death rattle.
It's
The death rattle.
here comes the victim of my own success
Exactly.
funeral.
It's like I'm about ready to become inactive.
Yeah.
And the funny thing in business is they're a lot like sharks.
Yeah.
If they're not growing, they're dying. And people will tell themselves, no. They're looking for two things, which I think are really dangerous in business. One is a set it and forget it. Like a lot of business people think it's going to get to a point where it just kind of runs itself.
Well, don't a lot of people think that about if I can just get here, if I can just get the relationship I want, if I can just get the money that I want, it's going to be good. I'm going to be good. They'll be fixed. That's the end.
Right.
It's over. Check that off the list.
Right.
And is there anything in your life that's a check mark?
No.
Is anything in your life that you're dynamically engaged with just kind of like, oh, yeah, it's good.
And we
done. Maybe
need
your
these,
shoes.
and we need
Done
these
with
challenges, because I used to think creating wealth was like this. And I used to think that human development was kind of like this. You get to a certain point and you're done.
You're good.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
And I realized and learned, no, if you want to stay healthy, you have to get to the gym, challenge your body, create resistance and pain, and overcome it. And if you want to have a healthy mind, you better do the same thing regularly.
And a healthy business.
Healthy business
Healthy relationship with your wife.
all the time.
Challenge it. Create
Yeah.
resistance. Keep learning. Keep adapting. Keep doing it differently.
Yeah. And
So there's no end.
And that's why people bring us into their businesses.
Yeah.
Because we're able to not only, people look at it on a tactical basis. It's like, oh, these people really know healthcare business. Yes. And these people really know the laws and regulatory compliance. Yes. But we know how to win.
Yeah.
And we know how to win in business. And we've shown it. We've done it many times. We've had a number of exits. And it's been beyond my dreams. I never imagined that I'd be doing what I'm doing today. Never. And it just makes me wonder what's next. Because I've learned whenever I hear that voice of, no, this is good.
It's good.
Something's coming. Because I know I'm going to not only get bored, I need to grow because I'm still here and I'm a living thing like a tree. Trees don't just go, I'm good. This is all I had in mind. I'm good. And apparently humans don't either.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, that scene. And I think it was a baseball movie or something, or it was maybe a boxing movie. And the reporter comes up to the guy and puts the mic in his face and says, what are you going to do next?
Disney World. Isn't that what everybody says?
Yeah.
Going to Disney World.
Going to Disney.
Yeah.
Gonna bling it out.
Yeah.
So what's next?
So what's Disney? So Disney for us is being involved in a strategic role with as many businesses as we can.
Right.
And as many people who have good ideas and have the hard work attached to that and are looking to not just have a good idea and not just kind of check things off the box, but want to be challenged and want to have conversations that they go,
Right.
I want to hear this. I want you to ask me questions. I don't want to just be in love with my idea and be impenetrable to what could make it better, bigger, or sustainable.
And I got to talk about the genesis of Green Table.
Yeah.
Because it was a personal experience that I had. The firm was going through a challenging time, and I began to wear down a little bit under it. And I began to feel fearful financially and fearful about business-related things. And I was focused on my own fear, and I felt the unhappiness associated with it. And I reminded myself, the thing that I really like the most, that lights me up the most, is giving value to other humans, helping other people. That was my thing. And I came back in, and that's when I said to you, we have to find a way to give more. So like in a time when I'm focused on myself and I'm focused on my fear, the sure way out of it every time is love somebody.
Yeah.
Like just text somebody, let them know I'm thinking about it. Pick up the phone, do something for somebody. Get the focus off of me, because that focus on me is an end run into the abyss. It's like, no, thank you. I don't want to, I'm going to go there because I'm a human being, but I don't want to stay there because I'm a human being that likes to be happy. And I know the difference between focusing on me and my fears
Your
and
feelings.
my feelings, which
Yeah.
I have a
Which can
very
keep
limited
you
tolerance
on
for.
the hamster wheel.
I hate it. So, but I also know what it's like to just put my attention on somebody and something else and give. No expectation, just give. And that's what Green Table was for me. Green Table was a reminder to me to just give more.
Yeah.
And the quality of my life is related to how much I give. And that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to do it. I'd learned from our experience that business is absolutely the cauldron of human development because it happened for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to expedite that and serve that for other human beings and help them experience all the stuff that we've been able to experience and learn all the stuff that we've learned, because I think it makes the world a better place.
Yeah.
And I think it helps human beings. Yeah. And that's the genesis of Green Table.
Well, it had been happening for many years. We had friends, colleagues, clients even, who had ideas, and the legal clock would stop, and then the real conversation would start. And so we would find ourselves in conversations where it was like, just come and have a conversation.
Right.
And let me just ask you about this one thing. And the last 10 minutes of the meeting was always that sort of a dynamic engagement where it's like, let's get down to the real thing now that we're done doing this.
Yes.
And it was happening naturally over many years, and Green Table is a way to bring way more of that and announce that we do it. Yeah. Because we've been doing it naturally. It's happened and it's grown organically, where we've gotten into business with some people through those great conversations, but we never told anyone, come and have those.
Right.
Right? So now it's come and have conversations.
Yeah, I think I think I was a little self-conscious and shy about saying that we do that and that we've been doing that. I think I kind of judged myself for it, and so I was afraid that we would be judged. But that's different for a law firm, and that's weird, and maybe we shouldn't say that, but we're doing that anyway. And I'll never forget the first time that it happened with this guy who came into my office with his wife many years ago. And
See, this is why you need a partner, because I was going to cue you to tell that story, because I know your stories too, and I know when it happened. I know that story.
Are you talking about the guy with the
you're...
employment agreement?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were a lawyer.
Yeah.
Being a lawyer.
Being a lawyer. I'm addressing the issue that the client is consciously aware of.
Right.
I have an agreement, and I want to make this agreement better, and I need your help. Yep. And that's what he came with. That was his awareness. That was the ask.
Right.
And I sat there. I sat there and I listened, and my intuition and instincts were yelling at me. And I asked him, I said, can I share something personal with you? Can I ask you a personal question? And he said, yes. And I said, I have the feeling that even if this contract was perfect, you'd still be really unhappy working where you're working.
That's the lawyer-client line that doesn't get crossed.
No.
That's the human.
You don't go personal.
The human personal.
Yeah. And his wife burst into tears. And they, they had a moment, and he made a very different career decision that he wasn't prepared to make and that he wasn't thinking about making when he came in the office.
Yeah, he thought he was getting legal advice.
But that was like, a taste of this is where I want to be. I want to make that kind of difference. Yeah. It's great to improve contracts. Don't get me wrong. I love doing contracts, and we all love doing business design. But to have that kind of impact.
Yeah. Well, you're in business to help people at the end of the day, and your vehicle is contracts and being a lawyer.
Right.
And as you've gotten more business experience and the stuff that we're talking about that we've learned together, the calling has been a different vehicle.
Yeah.
Share what you have as a business owner, as a business operator, share what you have,
Right.
not just do the contract.
And people focus on what's most visible, the tactics and the things and all that stuff. But for me to be effective, for me to help somebody create something that's sustainable, I need to understand the personal drivers. I need to understand what they need, what they truly want on a
Right.
personal level. Otherwise, we're creating something that is incompatible with them and therefore unsustainable. And frankly, they're going to quit
Yeah.
because it's not feeding them.
Well, that goes back to the why.
Yeah.
Why? If you're in business to make money and you don't make money one day or 1 year or 5
Right,
years,
right.
it's a bad day every day. So
Right.
if your why is just to make money, don't get into business.
I'm glad you said that because, people over the years have talked about make money, make money, make money. And, obviously money is the fuel, the engine of a business. I understand that. But when they talk about make money, and that's their why, I disconnect from them and feel like, you know what? And I'll tell them, unless you can find something other than money, I don't know how helpful I can be because money is the outgrowth of knowing your why and serving it. It's not the why. Money is what happens when you know your why and you know why you're here on this planet and you're spending your day doing that. Money happens when that happens, not the other way around. And I think that especially younger people are confused about that. And they think that, money's the objective. Money's the outgrowth of having a worthy objective, of having a fulfilling journey. People talk about being happy and being fulfilled and stuff. It's like, look, you have to figure out what makes you have a great day. And we all need help with that. Like we need a friend or we need to have a conversation because those secrets lie inside of us because we've been running a pattern every day. And so we're not consciously aware. You and I have talked about this, that when we're young, the first part of our life, we're just running a trajectory that was given to us. We didn't consciously design it. We've been running with it, which is one of the reasons why we see so many people later 30s, early 40s, they deconstruct it because that's the opportunity to create life on a conscious awareness basis.
Yeah.
And that's normal for us.
Intentionally,
Yeah, that's normal. It's normal human development. I did it. Many people do it. And, but once you get that kind of self-awareness, and you have to earn it. You can't get that from a book, and you can't get it without pain. You have to go through the pain, and you have to earn that. And once you earn that, and you know who you are, and you know what lights you up in life, then you can serve that and do something that I call follow the wow. Once you know what creates the wow, then you line everything up, and every day is a really good day.